You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 377, covering week 30, July 22nd to 28th, 2024. OpenBSD has adopted changes that add the LibVA 2.22.0 library to the XenoKera X11 stack, used in OpenBSD to create a graphical environment and based on modified versions of X.org 7.7, Xserver 21.1.11, FreeType 2.13.0, and Mesa 23.1.9. The LibVA library allows you to use the VA API, Video Acceleration API, for hardware acceleration of video encoding and decoding in various formats. Hardware acceleration has been tested with drivers for Intel and AMD GPUs using the Firefox browser and MPV video player. The necessary drivers for Intel GPUs are offered in the graphics/Intel-Media-driver and graphics/Intel-VA API-driver ports, while standard components from Mesa are used to work with AMD GPUs. NXS-Data-Anonymizer 1.9.0 is out, which is a tool for anonymizing PostgreSQL and MySQL/MariaDB/Percona database dumps. The tool is written in Go and released under the Apache 2.0 license. The program supports data anonymization based on templates and functions of the Sprig library. NXS-Data-Anonymizer can be used via unnamed pipes on the command line to redirect a dump from the source database directly to the target database with the necessary transformations. The anonymization process can be indexed. Data on the progress of the operation is displayed at specified intervals. By adding the type::command column to the value, you can set the value of the fields. Depending on the type of entities in the security settings, the tool anonymizes columns for tables with the rules described in the filters section. If the table does not contain any rules, the anonymizer will not include it in the resulting dump. A link block has been added to the column filter, which you can link the anonymization of database entities in different tables. This block stores the rules by which the tool anonymizes related columns in tables specified by the configuration throughout the database. Thus, cells in certain columns that had the same values before anonymization will have the same values after anonymization. HostAPD/WPA_supplicant 2.11 has been released, a suite of IEEE 802.1x, WPA, WPA2, WPA3, and EAP wireless protocols. The set includes the WPA_supplicant application for connecting to a wireless network as a client and the HostAPD background process to ensure the operation of the access point and authentication server, which includes components such as WPA Authenticator, Radius Authentication Client/Server, EAP server. The source code of the project is distributed under the BSD license. Midnight BSD 3.2 was released based on FreeBSD with elements ported from Dragonfly BSD, OpenBSD, and NetBSD. The basic desktop environment is built on XFCE. Midnight BSD was originally developed as a fork of FreeBSD 6.1 beta, which was synchronized with the FreeBSD 7 codebase in 2011 and subsequently absorbed many features of the FreeBSD 9-12 branches. Midnight BSD uses the Mport package system, which uses a SQLite database to store indices and metadata, or the Ravenports toolkit. Installation images for i386 and AMD 64 have been prepared for download. The developers of the OpenSSL cryptographic library have announced a complete transformation of the structure and methods of project management. To support the mission of the project, two equal divisions have been created: the nonprofit organization OpenSSL Foundation and the commercial company OpenSSL Corporation, focused on the interests of the nonprofit community and commercial enterprises. Both divisions operate completely independently and have separate decision-making processes. The project's mission embraces values such as the importance of community, commitment to an open-source development model, respect for privacy, and open and transparent governance practices. Decision-making is entrusted to the joint boards of directors elected separately in the OpenSSL Foundation and OpenSSL Corporation. Both organizations have 10 voting members. In addition, the OpenSSL Foundation and OpenSSL Corporation elect oversight committees from community representatives and interested commercial companies. The Technical Advisory Committee and the Business Advisory Committee can directly represent the interests of the community in the development of plans. The BAC will be formed at the end of October 2024, and the TAC releasability at the end of April 2025. The project is no longer limited to the OpenSSL library and is open to other cryptography-related projects. The first two projects to join were Bouncy Castle, a crypto API for Java and C# APIs, and CryptLib, a high-level API for making it easier to add encryption and authentication to programs. Linux Mint 22, codenamed Wilma, is out, updating the Ubuntu 24.04 LTS package base. The distribution is fully compatible with Ubuntu, but differs significantly in the approach to the user interface and the selection of default applications. Linux Mint developers provide a desktop environment that follows the classic canons of desktop layout, which is more familiar to users who do not accept the new methods of building the GNOME 3 interface. DVD builds based on the Mate 1.26, Cinnamon, and XFCE are available for download. Linux Mint 22 is classified as a long-term support release for which updates will be generated until 2029. A path has been released to upgrade from either version 21 or 21.3. Selectel has begun open beta testing of its own Linux server distribution, Selectel OS, built on Debian GNU Linux 12. The installation ISO image is prepared for x86-64 architecture. The distribution is intended for installation both on new equipment and on existing servers, both inside and outside the Selectel infrastructure. During testing, Selectel plans to work out the process of migrating current users to the new distribution in order to prepare the product for commercial launch, which is planned for the end of 2024. One of the features of the product is the SLA support guaranteed by Selectel. Canonical has published the release of Multipass 1.14, a toolkit designed to simplify the installation of different versions of Ubuntu in virtual machines running Linux, Windows, and macOS virtualization systems. Multipass allows a developer to launch the desired version of Ubuntu in a virtual machine with one command without additional settings, for example, for the testing the operation of an application. To run a virtual machine in Linux, KVM or VirtualBox is used, in Windows Hyper-V, and in macOS HyperKit. The project code is written in C++ and distributed on a GPLv3 license. A snap package has been prepared for quick installation of Multipass in Ubuntu. Multipass independently extracts the required operating system image and keeps it up to date. Cloud-init can be used for configuration. You can mount disk partitions in a virtual environment and transfer individual files between the host system and the virtual machine. Full integration of the installed virtual machine with the main desktop is supported. OpenSense 24.7 has been published, which separated from the pfSense project 9 years ago in order to develop a completely open distribution that could have the functionality at the level of commercial solutions for deploying firewalls and network gateways. The project is positioned as not controlled by a single company, is developed with the direct participation of the community, and has a completely transparent development process, as well as providing the opportunity to use any of its developments in third-party products, including commercial ones. The source code of the distribution components, as well as the tools used for building it, are distributed under the BSD license. The assemblies are prepared in the form of a live CD and a system image for flash drives. The distribution is based on FreeBSD. Among the features of OpenSense are a completely open build toolkit, the ability to install in the form of packages on top of regular FreeBSD, load balancing tools, a web interface for organizing user connections to a network, the presence of mechanisms for tracking connection states, setting bandwidth limits, traffic filtering, creating a VPN based on IPsec, OpenVPN, and PPTP, integration with LDAP and Radius, and support for DDNS, a system of visual reports and graphs. The distribution provides tools for creating fault-tolerant configurations based on the CART protocol and allowing you to launch a failover to the main firewall that will be automatically synchronized at the configuration level and will take over the load in the event of a failure of the primary node. The administrator is offered a modern and simple interface for configuring the firewall, built using the Bootstrap web framework and Falcon MVC. The release of Zulip 9 is available, which is a server platform for deploying corporate instant messengers suitable for organizing communication between employees and development teams. The project was originally developed by Zulip and opened under the Apache 2.0 license after its acquisition by Dropbox. The server-side code is written in Python using the Django framework. Client software is available for Linux, Windows, macOS, Android, and iOS, and a built-in web interface is also provided. The system supports both direct messaging between two people and group discussions. Zulip can be compared to Slack and considered as an internal corporate analog of X, used for communication and discussion of work issues in large groups of employees. It provides tools for tracking status and participating in multiple conversations simultaneously using a threaded message display model that is the optimal compromise between being tied to Slack rooms and the single public space of X. By simultaneously threading all discussions, you can capture all groups in one place while maintaining a logical separation between them. Zulip's capabilities also include support for sending messages to the user in offline mode, saving the full history of discussions on the server, and tools for searching that archive, the ability to send files in drag-and-drop mode, automatic highlighting syntax for code blocks transmitted in messages, built-in markup language for quickly creating lists and text formatting, tools for sending group notifications, the ability to create closed groups, integration with Trac, Nagios, GitHub, Jenkins, Git, Subversion, Jira, Puppet, RSS, X, and other services, as well as tools for attaching visual tags to messages. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.